Hmm. We have started. Okay. So welcome everybody once again to the Awaken to the Yoga series. And we have with us our wonderful yoga teacher, Deepa Bhatt, right here with us. So welcome Deepa and thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being a part of this series.
Thank you, Ashwini. Om, I really, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have this dialogue with you. Grateful that we can do this series of videos and talking about the limbs of Ashtanga Yoga.
All right, so Deepa, thanks once again. And today we are going to take this talk a little more in detail, and we are going to explain you much more detailed concepts of, as we discussed last time, with Maharishi Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga. So yes, we are going to simply chant Om once so that we begin this beautiful video by seeking blessings of the divine and of all the beautiful energies which are with us in this video.
Om.
And here we are, the first video wherein you all were introduced to our yoga teacher Deepa, and where we spoke briefly about what truly yoga is and what truly yoga is not, was such a beautiful icebreaker to the world yoga. So to tell you all, I remember my interaction with yoga was when I was a little child. My dad was a yogi, and he used to always say that Nisargadatta Maharaj, who is the guru of
Wow,
our entire family is blessed
amazing.
with being disciples of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. So Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj used to always tell my dad, whenever anyone used to talk about illness, he used to always say, "Don't be a rogi, be a yogi."
Yeah,
Okay,
heard that one. Yes,
so
it's a
dad
popular
always,
one.
yes, it's a beautiful one, and dad always said this, whenever we spoke about any illness or about anything, dad used to always tell me, "Don't be a rogi. Rogi means someone who has a disease. Be a yogi." And these words were something which were registered in my mind as a child. And imagine what a beautiful thought that is. And in today's world, where we all are feeling stuck in our houses, or we are living the new normal because of the
True,
pandemic, and
absolutely,
constantly this disease and all these things are going in on our minds, this thing makes
absolutely,
so much sense. And
absolutely.
that made me think of what is it to be a yogi.
Yeah.
Okay, and we, of course, this beautiful series would not have been possible without Deepa, because I always wanted to connect to someone who is themselves a yoga teacher, and very glad to have found Deepa here. So, so Deepa, let me ask you a quick question so that you can enlighten not just me but all our viewers who are looking at us. So, Deepa, what is the context under which the 8 limbs of yoga, which are called as Maharishi Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, are
Yeah,
practiced? So, what is the context under which this is practiced, and
yeah,
how will our viewers and me
yeah.
understand all about them?
Great, great. Ash, first of all, I have to, before I talk about Ashtanga Yoga, let me just say, great, amazing. I'm so happy to know that your family was, disciples of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, because he's a legend. He's a true
Yes,
legend in the field of Advaita Vedanta, and
yeah,
he's
blessed.
quoted by people world over. He was so profound. His thoughts were so simple and profound. So you're truly blessed. So I'm happy to begin on that note because I feel it's very auspicious. Um, about It's a great question. What is the context under which Ashtanga Yoga is practiced? Because without understanding the context within which it is practiced, if I talk about the yamas and niyamas, people are going to say, why should I follow this? Why should I practice this? Or it will sound very preachy, you know. So it's very important to understand what is the purpose for these yamas and niyamas and the other limbs. So we have to understand that the system of yoga was devised to achieve self-realization. Now, self-realization sounds like a very far-off concept. So just to make it a little more pragmatic, practical, let's say that it was devised to achieve a sense of inner freedom. You know, like a freedom to live our life without compulsions, without insecurities and fears. You know, having our inner wisdom, our inner intuition guide our life choices,
Beautiful.
basically.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that is the ideal that we're trying to aim towards as we follow the path of Ashtanga Yoga. So it's very important to keep that in mind. This is our goal, to achieve inner freedom. So if we want to achieve inner freedom, then it's important to develop, most importantly, self-awareness. Without self-awareness, there is no question of inner freedom. So how do you develop self-awareness? Then you have a certain, a few code of ethics, you know, a few disciplines that you have to follow to be able to arrive at that state, right? So yamas, niyamas, and other limbs of Ashtanga Yoga were created from that point of view, to build that sense of self-awareness. So they were all created to be practiced in a pragmatic way, not in an austere and obsessive kind of a way. You know, a balanced, practical approach has always been recommended by the original founders. It has been exaggerated a little bit over a period of time, but the objective is always to be balanced and practical in the approach. Yeah. So just to give you, before I explain those yamas, I'll talk about a small example for people to understand, because food, for example, is a very important aspect of people's life. So if I have to make a fantastic biryani, if I want to make a good, solid, well-tasting biryani, then even for that, there is a certain code of ethics that has to be followed. You know what I mean? Like you need a good, clean kitchen. You need a clutter-free kitchen. You know, like so that you have everything handy. You need a clutter-free mind so that you can, create the right proportion of spices and all the ingredients, ready for the biryani. You need patience. Without patience, you can't cook a good biryani.
Correct.
A biryani will turn out a certain way if you are impatient, and a certain way if you're patient.
Of course.
So however it turns out, the outcome, more than that, it's the process. You know, if you follow the right kind of process, it will turn out in a certain way. Correct? There's no right or wrong over there. So
very well said. And to add to that, we did prepare biryani yesterday. We prepared beautiful masoor biryani. So, I could visualize myself in the kitchen having access to, yes, and I could see, yes, having a decluttered kitchen, having everything at hand, making sure that at what time you set the biryani to cook and how many minutes are passed to check whether the biryani is ready, and letting that time pass. All of that is so important, isn't it?
So important. Yeah. It's, you follow a certain code of ethics, and then you know that your biryani will turn out perfectly. So it's as simple as that. So now that we have established what is the context and, given a biryani analogy here, I think we are ready to start.
And people will understand it very well, to know that
better.
Yes.
What it means. So just to go over it very quickly, Ashtanga Yoga means 8 limbs of yoga. Starts with yamas, niyamas, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. 8 limbs of yoga. So we will create a video for each of these limbs. The first limb is the yamas. The first limb of yoga is the yamas. Yamas means, Ashwini, it means restraint in the traditional sense. But in a practical sense, let's look at them as code of ethics. Not restraints, but code of ethics,
Right.
And when you look at it that way, it has layers of meaning. It doesn't have just one meaning, it has layers of meaning.
Absolutely.
So the first yama is ahimsa, non-violence, and so non-violence here is not just towards others, don't be bad to someone, don't be violent to someone, but also non-violent towards ourselves. having
Right.
compassion, developing compassion for others as well as for ourselves. So trying to
Wow.
avoid self-doubt, trying to avoid self-criticism. And we all do that. We have
Yes.
periods of self-doubt and self-criticism to such an extent that we lose our confidence in ourselves,
Of
our
course.
conviction in ourselves.
The
And
negative
that is
self-talk.
negative self-talk, absolutely. And that is a lot of ahimsa. That is complete ahimsa. So you might project a beautiful image and you might be very nice to other people, but if there is a lot of negative self-talk, then you are not able to practice the first limb. So first and
Hmm.
foremost, you have to develop ahimsa towards others and to yourself. So uh, and it doesn't mean that you have to always be positive, so
Right.
again, we have to be careful here. We have to be balanced. There will be periods where we will have negative emotions towards
Yes.
others, towards
Yes.
ourselves, but it's important to be aware, to
Wow.
build that awareness that,
Beautiful.
okay, this is what's happening within me and it's fine, it'll pass. So it's a practical way of looking at the limb of the part of niyama.
And
So
Deepa, I would like to add one
yeah,
point here. A lot of when I talk to clients for coaching, a lot of them talk about that. Oh, I made this mistake. This was not right. I need and that is the conditioning which goes on where they want to be perfect. And
yes,
I always say it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if things didn't work out in a
yes,
particular way. But beating yourself up for that, being guilty, being shameful, these are the emotions
yeah,
which are not going to help you. And this
absolutely,
exactly is what you're talking about. Being kind to yourself,
absolutely.
being
Be kind.
compassionate to yourself. Wow.
Absolutely. And it's logical. It's not because it's not a moral issue. It's a very
Right.
logical step because
Right.
if you are kind to yourself and others, you are conserving your energy. You're dissipating your energy if you're being violent towards yourself, in
Right.
every way.
Right.
So conserve your energy. Be kind, conserve your energy. It's as simple as that.
Beautiful. Very well explained. Great.
The second part of yama, the second aspect of yama is satya. Satya means truthfulness.
Hmm.
And here again, you can look at the literal meaning that's saying that, oh, I have to always be truthful. But it's not just about saying the truth. It's about living it. It's about walking
Wow.
the talk, you know.
Yes.
And it's very important because there are times where we do not like what we see within ourselves. We do not like what we feel within ourselves,
Right.
and a lot of times we hide those emotions. We push it under the carpet, and that creates a lot of a shadow self. But
Wow. Yes.
being truthful to ourselves, forget about the world, but just being able to see that, okay, what am I authentically, that itself is a big step, so being
Wow.
authentic
And
is very important.
And Deepa, thank you so much for saying this because a lot of my work at Unicorn Insight talks about authenticity. And in my personal experience as well, for the last 2.5 to 3 years, I have been, actually living authentic life. So I believe authenticity comes at 4 levels, which is first is knowing your truth, then acknowledging your truth, speaking your truth,
Perfect.
and
Yeah.
finally living your truth. Because these four
Beautiful.
things are so
Beautiful.
important for us. Many times we are not even aware of the truth. If we are
Yeah.
aware, we don't acknowledge it. If we acknowledge, we don't speak. And
Yeah.
if we don't speak, we don't live. So I think all four
Exactly.
parts are
Are
extremely important.
tied together. True. True.
And this also reminds me of the Vacha, which we speak about, the Para Pashyanti Madhyama Vaikhari. And
Yes.
Para is
Yes.
when it all begins. Pashyanti is where it goes to your mind. Madhyama
Yeah.
is the thought which you are aware of, you're completely aware of. But unless you speak
Yeah.
out, Vaikhari, it
Yeah.
only goes out to the person. So, I can relate
Beautiful.
my learnings of energy healing, my learnings of cognitive psychology, and I can apply it to yoga, and I see it's all coming together.
Amazing.
So thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much
And
for this.
Ash, I have to say that Maharishi Patanjali was a psychologist, by the way.
Wow.
He wasn't just a yogi. I mean, I'm just saying that because the whole Yoga Sutras of Patanjali
Yeah.
is about the mind. It's about dealing with the mind.
Beautiful.
Asana is just a small part of
A
it.
small
So,
part of it,
like
of
you
course.
said, it's about dealing with the mind, about cognitive psychology. There are so many layers to it.
And
Absolutely.
everything culminates and comes together to what we need to hear at that moment. And I think this
Yeah,
whole discussion itself is so divine.
true, true. So coming back to the yamas, so we talked about satya,
Yeah.
truthfulness. So the next one is yama is asteya. Asteya means non-stealing.
Hmm.
Non-stealing. So it's not, it sort of ties in with satya, because if you live your truth, then you will not want to steal. And stealing is not just trying to steal some object like stealing
Right.
money or stealing a purse or stealing a bag. It's about stealing things like, okay, stealing somebody's time,
Right.
stealing somebody's energy.
Right.
These not respecting somebody's space, not respecting somebody's uh, a being, that also is a part of asteya. So if you want to really practice your truth, if you want to practice your asteya, you have to respect people, their boundaries. You have to respect people, their time, their energy.
Yeah.
So it all ties in,
Wow.
satya ties in with asteya. Even things like, committing to something and
Right.
not being able to deliver, so being honest and saying that, okay, if I cannot do this, let me not do it. Being honest, being able to say no. These
Right.
are all aspects that come in here. There are so many layers to this yama,
Definitely. When you talk, you just spoke about boundaries, and that is one area which again is a very integral part of my work, because I deal with a lot of clients who talk about boundaries. And as you rightly put it, boundaries are a beautiful way to honor yourself and honor others at the same time. Because if
Yeah,
you're not going to honor your boundaries and you're going to commit to someone just because you don't want to be the bad person and you want to people
correct.
please, it's going to waste both of our time, energy, and resources. And
True.
I always tell people that initially, when you start with having healthy boundaries, it might be difficult, but make that practice for a long term, because that is going to honor both you and the person in front of you. And yes, I have been
Yeah,
guilty of times in my in my life where I have not honored myself. But I think if you connect it to the first limb of ahimsa, where you say, okay, you did commit a mistake, but be in allowance of
yes,
that and don't have that negative
yeah,
inner talk. It's beautiful,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
So beautifully said.
absolutely. And they are
Beautifully.
so, these are all these aspects of the yamas are so logical, it's not like they're a moral thing at all.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so thank you, Ashwini. Thank you for sharing that as well. I would like to now come to the fourth aspect of yama, and this is a very interesting one because this has been talked about a lot,
Hmm.
brahmacharya.
Hmm.
And brahmacharya has been thought of as celibacy. You have to maintain, practice celibacy. But we have to look at it in a new light, because in the modern day and age, we people have relationships, people are married. I mean, not just modern day and age, people have been
Always
having
been.
relationships for ages. But it's not so. It's not to say that you shouldn't have relationships or you shouldn't be married. It's not even about celibacy. It's about conservation of energy. Okay, so you can make your choices, but you have to decide whatever you choose to do. You have to decide how you want to direct your energy towards it. So if you are choosing to be on the yogic path, then you have to make sure that all your actions, all your intentions are directed in such a way that you are able to focus completely on that path. So again, let us look at the example of a biryani. I'm cooking a fantastic biryani. It's on the stove, and I have to put some spices into it, and some masala into it. And I'm busy also watching Netflix, and some episode of Friends is going on, which is extremely interesting. And I'm also caught up there. And on the side, I'm getting messages on WhatsApp from my family. Some jokes are being sent, or some social media comments, and my attention is divided there, here, everywhere. And whatever masala I'm putting is probably not optimal because my attention is not focused. So similarly, if you want your biryani to turn out well, you have to focus. Similarly, when you're
Beautifully said.
when you're focusing on practicing on being on the yogic path, or in
Amazing.
life, or anything that you practice, direct your energy smartly, cleverly, intelligently. Don't dissipate your energy. So this is what
Amazing.
it means.
Wow. And Deepa, this again, now we are relating energy healing and energy science with, because of course everything at the end of the day is knowledge. But
Parallel. Yes.
yeah, it's parallel. But this is often what my teachers have been telling me about energy leak, which means see
Yes.
when in today's modern day, we are multitasking, right? And
Yeah.
multitasking is almost like a skill which we might also have written on our corporate resumes.
Proud of it.
Proud of it that I'm a multitasker. Even a lot of times we as women too, we want to multitask because
Yes.
we want to be the perfect
Absolutely.
mother, perfect wife, perfect daughter, everything. And of course, this is not just gender centric. Men and even women, both of us, we want to do a
Also.
lot of things. Now,
Yeah.
my teacher always says that conserve your energy to do the things you really want to do so that you don't end up
Yes.
wasting your energy. And they also talk about identify the energy leaks in your life, which means what
Yeah.
are the factors which are leaking energy. And
Right.
probably a lot of people say, I didn't want to do that, but I just did it because I wanted to keep someone happy. Or, like many times people say, I
Yeah.
didn't want to go for that function, but I'm just going
Yeah.
because I'm just going to show my face. And I will
Yeah.
always say, go only when you want to do. Otherwise, say
Yeah.
a no. Politely say a no. I have done this so many times. I have told people that thank you so much for your invite. You've been really kind to me, but I have other things planned that day. So I'm really sorry.
Yes.
I would not be able to make it. And don't
Yeah.
feel guilty about it because clearly this is what we do. We want to be at all
Yeah.
places at the time and we end up not doing anything. So, as the amazing example of biryani, you said you're watching television, you're watching WhatsApp, you're doing so many things,
Yeah.
you don't have the
Yeah.
energy to focus, and that exactly causes an energy leak. And
Leak.
this
Perfect.
concept
Yeah.
perfectly tells you that don't leak your energy, use it only for where you need to put it, the power of
Exactly.
focus.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfectly said. And like you say, it's ultimately you realize all these code of ethics is not just about yoga, it's about life.
It's
It's
about
about
life.
living life in a certain
Yes,
way.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, definitely. So
Yeah.
amazing, lovely.
There's one more aspect of yama that I have to talk about
Yes.
after. So the fifth aspect of yama is aparigraha, which means non-covetousness, non-possessiveness, non-greediness.
Hmm.
And here again, the literal meaning is don't lust after material objects, don't lust after money and
ये सब मोह माया है. That's
gold,
what they
moha
say.
maya hai. But logically speaking, it just simply means it's not just about material things, but also about an unhealthy obsession to acquire things.
Hmm.
Um, I think I think being greedy for results,
Yeah.
being greedy for life to happen in a certain way, wanting to control things so that they turn out in a certain way, manipulating. All these are parts of greediness and covetousness, because there is a certain level of OCD here. We
Yes.
are so OCD about living in a certain way, a certain lifestyle, a certain outcome of whatever you are doing, that we
Yeah.
forget that life is a process.
Yes.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's a
So
flow.
it's a flow, exactly. So it's logical. Obsessively wanting to acquire things is what I feel has driven the world to where it is right
Where it
now.
is currently.
Yes, because
And
everyone, yeah, sorry, you were saying?
no, you can complete and I'll just go with what I would like to say.
No, so, I mean, just being able to say, Ash, that this is good for me, I'm
Yes.
content, I'm
Yes.
good with that, that
Contentment.
is something that we have to develop and say that, okay, I can make do with this, I'm very happy with this, I'm grateful for this,
Lovely. And
something that needs to be,
that the thing I wanted to add was as a coach, many times I hear from people who say, how many sessions will it take for me to achieve this? Okay.
oh my
And
God,
I understand where they are coming from because yes, I always balance
yes,
between achievement and flow. I always tell my clients that
yes,
yes, we are going to achieve things, but we also have to flow with life because that is where the beautiful surprises come. And it's sometimes, most of the times, what you're looking for things appear even better than what you have been expecting for if you go with the flow.
True.
And as a
True.
manifestation coach, so when I do, especially these law of attraction workshops or vision board workshops, people say, this is what I want. And I always tell them that this is this is wonderful to have what you want, but let go of all the control. And that might be right from how many likes you get after you post that thing on social media. How many likes did you get? How
Yes.
many likes did it get converted into business? And I
Yes.
tell them, stop controlling. It's okay. There
Controlling.
are, because I make posts almost every day. There are some posts for which I get 100 likes. For some posts, there are 1,000 likes. And some posts, there are 2 likes. It
Exactly.
doesn't matter.
Exactly.
What matters
Yeah.
is who is, your work. Is it reaching out to the
How is it
people?
impacting? How is it
Yes.
impacting the people?
Yes. And
Right.
how are you reaching out to the world? Similarly,
Right.
a lot of, like in today's world, and my favorite author, Gabrielle Bernstein, she talks a lot about letting go of control.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this OCD, what you spoke about, oh, I have so
Yeah.
many people who proudly say, I have an OCD. And until I get it in a particular way, it's not going to happen. And I say, stop that. Because you're going to lose
Yeah.
out on the beautiful things in life, you know.
Exactly.
And Deepa, there was a
Absolutely.
story which I heard that there was a man who was told to hike up to a mountain holding a spoon of oil in his hand. And he was told that don't let the oil get spilled out. And he reached the
Yeah.
top of the mountain, and he told his guru, I did reach at the top of the mountain. And he said, okay, how did you see the place from the top of the mountain? And he said,
I
I
didn't
did
see.
see because I was looking at the oil, in the spoon.
Oil.
And that is what happens to us. We want things
Oh
to be in
my
a
God.
particular way. We
So
miss out the
aptly
rivers,
put.
we miss out the
Absolutely.
trees, the mountains.
We miss out the journey. We
Yes,
don't even enjoy the journey. Yes,
absolutely.
so absolutely. That's a perfect example, Ashwini. That's a beautiful example. Drives home the point completely about this particular aspect.
Superb, superb.
So, yeah, speaking to you, I see so many parallels between yoga and energy healing. And
Absolutely.
ultimately, I feel people, this code of ethics will really serve people well in whatever they want to do, any project they take up in life.
Right.
If they follow the code of ethics in a truthful way, in an honest, sincere way, it's going to be very useful for them.
Yes, yes.
And
And Deepa, one more point I wanted to add to all of the, when you spoke about the five parts of Yama. I've been
Yama,
actually taking
yeah,
notes as you are speaking, and I'm really liking, all of this. I realized one thing: we as human beings sometimes get stuck in the extremities, what we call as the
yeah,
polarities of life, being too right, being too wrong.
so right,
So
so right,
like to
yeah,
give you an
yeah,
example, I'm often asked by people. So as a spiritual teacher, are you a pure vegetarian? Are you a vegan? And all of that. And I sometimes don't know what to answer because I always say that, well, I don't get stuck in labels because I do observe a more over vegetarian food regime, but at times I do
yeah,
also eat non-vegetarian food. And
absolutely,
for example, if I travel to
absolutely.
Scotland and I'm not going to find any vegetarian food, I can have the meat. So
Have meat, yeah,
yes. And similarly,
absolutely,
I see a lot of people saying that I'm going to be a vegetarian. And I was cooking for my family and the food looked so yum, but I didn't eat it. And I always say, if you like to eat it then. There
eat
are
it,
days you
yes,
don't feel like eating, don't eat it. But
yeah,
getting stuck in
yeah,
labels about what food to eat and
yeah,
getting stuck in the polarity. So when you were
yeah.
talking about this, these thoughts were crossing my mind about being as humans being stuck in polarities, right?
Yes, absolutely. We are so stuck in maintaining that image of being a certain way to ourselves.
Yes,
Oh, I am very spiritual, so I'll be completely vegetarian. I will be completely, I'll not touch alcohol. I'm not going to touch sugar. I'm not
yes,
going to touch milk. But that's not what is expected. It is a balanced approach that you need to look at. So if you enjoy a glass of wine with a group of friends, go ahead and do that. If you enjoy some
right,
meat once in a while, go ahead and do that. It's not about this or that. It's about
right.
that fine balance that
Yes,
you maintain.
yes, yes. And Lord Shri Krishna talks about balance in the Bhagavad Gita as well.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
it's
absolutely.
and that's what when he describes a yogi, He talks about the
Yes.
one who doesn't eat too much, one who
Eat
doesn't
or
eat too
eat.
little.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
and the one who doesn't sleep too much, who doesn't sleep too
Sleep too
little.
much, sleep too little.
And
True.
I
True.
guess what we spoke today, it's all about balance. It's all about focusing your energy. It's all about being true to
Yes.
ourselves and the world. And it's all about
Yeah.
practicing the concepts of being balanced at all costs in all ways.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is what my
Absolutely.
understanding was from this beautiful discussion with.
I loved every minute of it, and I'm so excited for our next one. We will be talking about the niyamas, the observances or disciplines that we have to follow on the path of Ashtanga Yoga. And I'm
Beautiful.
sure I'm just excited to see what will come out in our discussion, in our next discussion.
Thank you. I'm once again very thankful to you for all of you. We just had
Likewise.
a beautiful discussion with Deepa Bhatt. Deepa Bhatt is a certified yoga teacher and she's also a very good friend of mine. She is my yoga teacher too. I have been practicing yoga with her since the last few months. I've just begun my journey and I'm enjoying every bit of it. And I'm so thankful to her for being a part of this series. As Deepa rightly said, we will see you soon in the next series, which is the next part of the series, which is the Niyamas. So till then, I hope you like this talk. I hope you take away something from it. I have taken my paper pen and I have taken my notes. So feel free to take notes if you wish to. You can connect
Yes.
to Deepa on her Instagram handle, Aham Deepa. And of course, you can connect to us on our Instagram handle, unicorn_insight. Our Facebook page, Ashwini Chube Official or Unicorn Insight. We have two Facebook pages. And of course, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, I would request you to subscribe, like, share with everyone.
And share.
Yes, because we are trying to really spread this beautiful knowledge and we would love if you
Yeah.
can share it with all your friends, relatives. And for more on us, log on to www.unicorninsight.com. This is Ashwini Chube and Deepa Bhatt saying thank you to all of you for watching this.
Thank you.
Be blessed.
Yes.
Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.